Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is Lance. I'm back with another video, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to melee bob. So if you enjoy or learn something new, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as it would really help me out a lot. But before I start giving this $1 million knowledge on how to become a top tier melee bob, make sure you check out my other socials. I got TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Patreon. Everything will be linked in the description down below, so make sure you go check those out. But with that being said, let's just get right into the video. So I've been a melee bob for a very long time, and in this video I'm going to be showing what worked for me and how I became a melee bob successfully in 2022.
I get green like the Hulk, no Atlanta. Right after they check out my lines like a scanner. Got your bitch on my dick, I can't stand her. Hit now, she thinks she all that like Amanda. Yeah, you know I ball like Evander, and she call me daddy like I'm Danny Tanner. Yeah, that pussy pink like she fight cancer. I let that bitch get me top on the camera. Went down south on me like Alabama. I came in, I made that bitch step like the Gamma.
Alright, so let's start this video off with saying being a melee bob is not easy. There's a lot of things that put yourself at a disadvantage being a melee bob because you have so many points into melee. You often don't have very much weight, or you often don't have very much movement speed or health because so many points are invested in a melee. So because you're always at a disadvantage, you want to use things that are going to give you the upper hand in PvP. If your goal is to try to club someone out, the best thing you can bring is stuff that's going to make it where they can't move. I suggest using things like Perlovias, bear traps, and whenever you net someone, always try to whip their cutter. Whenever someone gets netted, their instant reaction is to pull out their cutter to try to break themselves free. You can use this to your advantage by instantly pulling out a whip and whipping it out of their hand. Whenever they go in their inventory to try to pull out another club to cut out, it gives you perfect free hits to hit them while they're in their inventory. The next best thing you can do is fight someone in the water, because when you're a melee bob and you're trying to hit someone underwater, they can't pull out their shield to block it, and they also swim at about the same speed you do, so it's really hard to get away whenever they're just trying to swim away without flippers. This gives you easy hits whenever you chase someone through the water, and it's really easy to knock them out that way. One problem you'll always run into being a melee bob is closing the gap from your enemy. Trying to get close enough to even melee them is normally the biggest challenge. So what I normally do is I use concealment or cover to get close enough so that way when the time is right, I'm already right there ready to net and club them out. This is very situational though, so the more you practice, the better. If there's no way to get to your enemy without being seen, the next best thing you can do is wait for your enemy to come to you. So I recommend hiding somewhere where you know that they're going to come back to, so that way when they do come back, you're ready to net and club them out. One problem that I personally run across a lot is trying to knock out people that are on tames, especially things like lightning wyverns, manas, bloodstalkers, and the reason why is because it's really hard to get close to them without taking damage or getting killed super easy. So the best thing I could recommend you doing is either killing their tame so that way you can get to the player and club them out without an issue. Or what you can do is as soon as you net someone's tame, instantly pull out a whip and try to whip their cutter, because they're going to be focused on cutting their tame free and they're less likely to block your whip with their shield. Once you know you've whipped their only cutter, the best thing to do is back out a little bit so that way you can reload your net gun and go for a net on their player next, and then once their player is netted, they're just a free knockout. One thing that can be very difficult is big tribe PvP whenever you are a melee bob. Because you have to play so deep and on the front lines, I would always recommend bringing extremely light kits so that way you don't really lose much if you die, but the potential gain is so high if you knock someone out. Especially if you knock someone out with a heavy kit, you want to be able to run away. One thing that I've noticed that people are doing lately is whenever I do net them, they instantly pop a beer. Now, what happens when they pop a beer is it makes it twice as hard to knock them out because they are taking less damage. They're also taking less torpor damage from my club. So sometimes it could take a lot of hits to knock someone out. The best thing you can do is keep circling so that way they can't block any of your hits with their shield. So in this clip, I had seen a mana jumping around and I'm waiting to get tribed, so I net the mana and I instantly pull out my whip to try to whip his cutter. But he's running around the rock and I finally get his cutter, so the first thing I do is turn around, pull out my net gun and try to reload. I want to create some distance so that way he can't net me or tech rifle me. As soon as I netted him, I knew it was his only cutter, so now it's free. All I gotta do is keep hitting him. The best thing to do is keep swinging from side to side. This guy had popped a beer and blocked most of my hits with a shield, but because I whipped his cutter, he's there for a minute. I have 1 minute to club him out as much as I can because there's no way he can cut free unless his teammate comes to help him. The most ideal way you can fight someone as a melee bob is either in a cave or in close quarters, so that way they can't run away and they can't use weapons at range. When you bring them into close quarters, it makes it super easy to club them out because you take less time running over to them to either whip their cutter or club them out. When you're in caves like the Island Ice Cave, it is super OP being a melee bob because it's so hard for your enemies to run back inside their cave. But let's say you're in open world PvP. As a melee bob, you're always going to want to be looking for opportunities to strike whenever someone's not paying attention or distracted. Because you're so easy to get killed, I would definitely not recommend you being the main target of your enemy and try to be more of a support role for your teammates. But if you're a melee bob and you're PvPing by yourself, the best thing you can do is be super unpredictable and play hyper aggressive. When you do this, it's going to make the enemy make mistakes, and if you capitalize on those, it makes it super easy to knock them out. Something that I think is really slept on when you're a melee bob is the importance of movement speed. If you're able to run your enemies down and club them out, it makes it super difficult for them to try to run away, and it makes them make mistakes. If you're chasing someone down with a club, a lot of times they start panicking and just trying to shoot at you, but if you have a tech shield, you'll just ricochet whatever they shoot at you back at them, and then if they try to run backwards, oftentimes you'll be faster running forward, and it makes it super easy to club them out. The last thing melee bobs are extremely useful for is dropping tech turrets and structures, because if you have a good sword, you can drop it in a couple hits. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed or learned something new. If you did, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It would really help me out a lot. Let's try to get this video to 100 likes, and I'll see you in the next one.
Bloody bottles is on the knee, cause all my niggas got it out the street. I keep 100 racks inside my jeans. I remember